Well, hey folks, welcome back to another episode of the Brand Builder Show. Today we're going to be talking all things email marketing, an absolutely huge topic in the world of e-commerce. And I'm glad today that we're joined by Reinis, who is building up quite a name for himself in the email marketing space. Reinis, welcome to the show today.
Happy to be here.
Thank you. I mean, everybody says that, but hopefully you actually mean that, and we're going to get you some.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's always a pleasure because like from these podcasts, it's typically not just a one-sided conversation. You know, you can give your comments, and I can learn from that as well. So it's always a pleasure.
I'll try. I'll try my best. But we're here to learn from you today because you are an expert in the world of email marketing, and I'm interested to hear a little bit of how you got to be the expert. What's kind of the story? Where did you start with email? How did you find yourself on that particular vertical in a wide e-commerce space? Give us a bit of the background to your story, bud.
Yeah, for sure. So essentially, actually, this is my business partner in the background as well, working. But we got started, I think it was like 2.5 years ago. Initially, we were working on Facebook advertising. But long story short, they had a client that needed work outside of Facebook. And chatbots, which I was doing at the time, and there was email marketing. And as I was in the chatbot scene, everyone was talking about how email marketing is dead, it's dying, it's old, no one cares about it anymore. But when we set things up for them, I realized that, they're making $60K a month, and all of a sudden we made like $3K from emails. And I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. And later down the line, as they scaled up to over $100K a month, that number grew to $14K, et cetera, et cetera. And I realized that there's a lot of opportunity here. Everyone is providing Facebook ads as a service, et cetera, but no one's focusing on retention on the back end on emails. And that's essentially where we swooped in and we started doing it. Now, at this point, we've grown to around 60 clients, and at a peak, we had 55 team members in our team. We've worked with companies who sell in the US, Europe, even Japan, Israel, all over the world in a bunch of different niches. And that just showed that we were at the right place at the right time. And I do believe that was also a factor of our success and of our meteoric rise.
Yeah, nice, man. What does that team look like now? You said peaked at 55. What is that on? Is it on, obviously we can get into all the details of what makes a good email process, but is that copywriting? Is it designers? What kind of team is it?
Yeah, so as an agency, it's not just the writing side. We also have to manage clients. So it's account managers, it's project managers, copywriters, graphic designers, all these different elements that get put together to build a team.
You said you've been doing it 2.5 years, the agency.
Yes, that's correct. And closing up on 3 years soon.
Yeah, good. Do you see yourself doing it for the long term?
Yes, of course. There will be probably a time where, just as a business, like the agency business model itself, we outgrow it and we can move on to something that's bigger and more, that has higher opportunity for us. But now, for the foreseeable future, yes, there is no reason not to. I mean, the only reason would be if there's something like a different opportunity, which is just a lot better.
Yeah. Can you sell an agency?
Agency JR. So JR doesn't stand for junior, stands for Jacob Reinis. It just sounds very good, but then as we started working with more and more people say it agency junior. No, it's not. It's not that though.
You were talking about the kind of long-term plan. I'd just like to get into the minds of entrepreneurs, right? But is the agency model, is it sellable? Can you sell a business that you build as an agency, or are you just restricted to just keeping it as a cash flow business?
Ultimately, you can sell any business. It just depends on what price and to whom. Typically, agency businesses aren't the main business people would like to buy, I would say. It's something that people just associate with client work and grunt work, and it might not be the most favorable, but can it be sold? Yes. I mean, any business can be sold. It just depends on what price and what multiple. There's some businesses which are less valued than others. For example, for e-commerce, you can get great multiples. For SaaS, you can get amazing multiples. For agencies, it's typically at the bottom of the tier list. Would we sell it? Possibly, but you need to build it in a specific way. Ideally, you want to build it as an asset for people to buy, because no one wants to buy a job. They don't want to go in and fulfill the client work, talk to the client. They just want to buy something that produces income, and they don't have to think and worry about it. They might be able to implement an operator to make the business grow and function, but they don't want to, deal with all the client management stuff, which is probably the main reason I believe why people are not big fans of agencies, because they just think agency, client work, me working, no go. Compared to e-commerce, you might be actually doing more work when you buy an e-commerce business, and sometimes even make less money than an agency. But it's just the association by default that makes, I believe, people flock those businesses more.
Yeah. This isn't meant to be an agency podcast, I know, but how much are you working?
Personally, I could work less, but there's still a lot of room to grow. I practically work all the weekdays, and on weekends I work on Sundays. On weekdays I typically wake up at 6:30, 7 a.m. and I go to sleep at 9, where most of the time is being spent working. Some is some degeneracy or some social media stuff, which I bucket in with the degeneracy side of things. But most of the stuff is still working, because I'm focusing also on building my personal brand. Even doing podcasts like these, it works on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good, man. Thanks for answering those questions. I know a lot of people listening will be entrepreneurs and maybe wondering, could I get into the agency space as well as ecom? It's a popular kind of thing to consider. So no, that's good, man. Let's talk about email marketing. Obviously, that's the topic. That's your expertise. Why is email marketing so important?
Look, it's as a business, you're always going to be focusing on acquiring customers, and it's probably the most difficult part of the journey. You need to build trust. You need to get people to give you their credit card details, which they feel are very, very confidential, and they need to believe that the product they're buying it's going to be valuable to them. Once you convince them, if you don't talk with them at all, you've lost a client. So really, for a business, we have a company. This is around $3 million a month, and I think 1.2 mil came from emails. Right? So if they had no email marketing, they'd just be missing out on $1 million a month, right? So fundamentally, the bigger your business, the more important email marketing is going to be, because you already have a customer base. You already have your loyal audience, loyal fans, and what you need to do is communicate with them. And not always it's going to happen through paid advertising. Paid advertising is great for customer acquisition, but for retention, email, SMS is where it's at. And really, as we dive more and more into the future of e-commerce and online business, more and more people and the companies are going online. 5 years ago, we saw more companies be, on the brick and mortar scene, and now all of them are online. So there's a lot of competition, and all the costs are going up. The place where costs are more fixed, you could say, is emails, because you don't need to pay when someone opens an email. You don't need to pay when someone views an email, when someone clicks an email. You just pay a monthly fee, for example, to Klaviyo or whichever tool you're using, and to send out messages whenever and to whomever you want. And you don't really have regulations. You can communicate with a customer. You can make sure that the people you're communicating with, they get your messages. The same thing goes for SMS as well. So it's a tool for you to be more profitable long term, and also just to help you scale more. Email marketing and paid ads, they supplement each other. They go together, and they help you make more money ultimately.
Yeah. Are most of your clients using Klaviyo?
Yeah, because we use Klaviyo. And to be fair, for e-commerce, it's the best tool. I don't see any reason you'd be using any tool other than Klaviyo for e-com.
Yeah. And you mentioned SMS. It's obviously growing a lot. I think a few years ago it was seen as a little bit of like an intrusive kind of marketing, but a lot more brands are doing SMS marketing now. Again, most of your clients doing SMS, a few of them. How's the structure?
Not everyone. I'd say the ones in Europe are not, because in Europe SMS regulations are a lot more strict. It's more difficult to follow. However, in the US, I'd say around 30-40% are. The ones who are not, their SMS lists might not be big enough at the moment for them to work on it, or it's just the nature of their business. It's a one product shop, and SMS marketing plus emails might be a bit too aggressive, or sometimes it's just the business owners don't think it's necessary, so there's no way to convince them. Bucket them all together, I'd say around 30% of the customers use SMS. I actually had a stat. I was on a panel where someone from Klaviyo was also in a discussion, and they opened my eyes towards SMS because they said typically one person is only subscribed to 4 SMS lists, meaning that if you have someone's phone number, it's very valuable. Because compared to email, you're going to give your email to a lot of people, you're going to see a lot of messages. So, not always you can see the highest conversion, but through SMS, you have fewer lists and you get messages, less often. Especially in America, everyone uses iMessage, so the message you send via text is going to be seen as well. Now, the only trick with SMS is you can't be as aggressive, as frequent as you are with email. But you got to balance them, and you got to really use the two marketing channels together to get the most benefits.
Do you see it as something that is a bit of a fad, or is it going to keep becoming as popular?
If it was a fad, it would have died off by now. That's my answer.
Yeah, good. Okay. What kind of revenue do you really aim to get clients generating through email in terms of percentage? What's kind of healthy aim for you?
Depends on the shop itself. The biggest variables are, number one, how many products do you have? And then number two is, are you a niche down store, or do you have like a more general shop? Because ideal scenario is you're in a niche. For example, if you look at Lululemon, they sell athletic clothing. So if someone goes to buy from them, they're into whether it's fitness, and they want to get clothing from you. So email marketing for that company could be massive. It could be over 50-60% of their online revenue, not including, obviously, brick and mortar. But, for example, for shops where, let's say, you might sell headphones, it's a one-time purchase. After a while, it's good to re-engage those customers and maybe sell them a new product, but you wouldn't be getting as much sales. To answer your question, I will stick to the usual like 15-30% on what you see on average. For some brands, it might be different. The more consumable CPG brands where you can buy products more often, that's where you dive more into the range of like 24 up to 40% from the total sales.
Okay, that's good. Those are some good benchmarks. In terms of, let's do a little bit of a workshop. You walk into a new client's business, day one of setting everything up. What are the core fundamentals? A business that has 0 email set up right now. What are the core flows and campaigns you set up? And maybe if you could just, for anybody that's quite new to email marketing, just define campaigns and flows and the difference between them.
Yeah. So campaigns and flows, think of email flows as automated, behaviorally based triggers for emails. So if someone goes to the site, they look at a specific product and leave, we can send them an email. They abandon checkout, we send them an email. And think of email campaigns as disruptive-based marketing. Like the same thing as you're on Facebook, you're scrolling through the feed, you see posts you want to see, and then there's an ad. It's disruption-based. It disrupts your daily flow, if you will. That's what email marketing campaigns are. With campaigns, you decide when and whom to send them to. Flows are being sent if someone fits a specific criteria or they do something on the site. Now, for someone who has no email marketing, first things first, there are 2 mechanisms we install in the clients' businesses we work with. One's the front-end sales booster, the other one's the repeat buyer and profit generator. So the front-end sales booster is where we focus on getting people to, where we focus on boosting your ROAS, as simple as that. So this taps into the funnel you have on your website. So what we install is a pop-up on the site to capture the people who go to the site but don't end up buying. Because if your conversion rate is 3%, a pop-up can convert anywhere from 5 on the lower end, on average like 7 to 10%. Where all of a sudden you have a lot more traffic you can retarget through emails and also through paid ads. Then the next thing is an abandoned checkout sequence, pretty straightforward for people that were down the funnel and abandoned checkout. Then the thank you emails. So once someone places an order, we send them emails reminding them about their order, that we received it, setting the right expectations for when the order can arrive, and also trying to upsell and cross-sell them different products that might be interesting to them. Those would be like the core, because like if you add more, I would say it's best to work with someone else than for you to do it yourself. This is what I would recommend you do, and I'd recommend you set up if you do it by yourself. Obviously, the setups we run, they're more complicated than that. And I would say it depends on the business's size as well. If you're doing less than $30K a month, I would say don't think that much about email. Set up these flows and forget about them. Because mathematically speaking, if you do 30% max from emails, you might make $9K a month in sales. So you scale to like 39K, which is cool. But if you hone in on your product market fit and improve your ads, you could scale to 100K a month. And then all of a sudden, focusing on emails and getting this 30% mark can be 30K extra a month. So that's the main difference.
Yeah. I think obviously if setting up the flows is just a one and done thing, isn't it? Obviously you can optimize over time, but it's work you do once that can then pay off, so it's
At lower scale, yes. At lower scale, yes. At a higher scale, it's like imagine you have a race car. If you buy a race car and just let it sit, it's gonna rust up and it's not gonna be it's not gonna be functional after a while. So you do need to maintain it at higher scales. But if you have if you have a shop that's smaller, yes, you set up and you forget about it, because mathematically you doing 1% optimizations like 30K a month is not gonna make sense for you. You make like $30. Whereas if you're $1 million a month and you do 1% optimization, that's 10K extra sales a month, which over a year is 120K extra. It's like it's a budget for hiring a new employee at that point.
Yeah. Okay. The flows, before we get on to campaigns, just quickly on the flows, email sign up and that kind of orientation kind of flow. What are you seeing the best opt-in rates for? Is it like a discount, a free gift, join the newsletter? What are some recommendations there?
Well, I'm going to subscribe to the philosophy most OG marketers subscribe to. Just test. Really, it can depend. Like you can have two of the same offers for one brand. It works, for other it doesn't work. But I would say the main ones, as you mentioned, yes, is a gift. It can be a discount. It can also be a giveaway. We're seeing giveaways become more popular, especially for higher ticket products. If, for example, you're selling a chair, you don't want to like give them a 10% discount, on their first order, because it might be their only order for the next 4 or 5 years. However, you can do a giveaway where every 3 months or every month you give away a product. They can opt in to get a chance to win that month's product for free. Obviously, if you're operating at lower scale, it might be too expensive for you. But those are a couple of ideas. So you need to take into consideration your margin, whether it's a one-time buy or you have multiple purchases. Getting a free gift also with the first order can be really good. There was a supplement company, and how I think the stats was they increased their conversion rate in abandoned checkouts by 17% by having a pop-up that shows up when people are about to exit, and it tells them like, hey, if you buy this order, if you opt in, we're going to give you a free keychain with your order. It was a keychain. It was like a small shaker bottle keychain, something like that, protein shake bottle. And that helped them improve the conversion rate on their abandoned checkouts. Yeah. So these are a couple of tests you can do. Those would be the main ones. I wouldn't really deviate too far away from these. Things could just get way too complicated, more complicated than you might need them to be.
Yeah. Okay. Are you collecting SMS at the same time as email on sign up for people that are using SMS?
Good question. So we would do 2-step opt-in. So step 1 is they enter their email. Step 2 is we ask for their phone number. Because email, it's something that's easier for people to give out. Phone number is something that people are a bit more lenient. They don't want to give it out as easily. So with a 2-step, you're able to get their email and their phone number if they want to give it. If not, we already have their email, so we're 50% done on the way.
Yeah, that's a good tip. What tool are you using for like pop-ups and email collection?
Right now, Klaviyo's improved their pop-up tool like very, very, very much. There's also Privy, Opt-in Monster, but for simplicity, we use Klaviyo just because we can go into one tool, see everything for each one of our clients. And also you don't have to pay anything extra. And Klaviyo is raising their prices, getting a bit more expensive. So just using all the functionality, it's good. Typically, I'm against using tools that do everything all in one tool because they don't do most things well. But with Klaviyo, it's a bit different because Klaviyo does everything well when it comes to email, and they're improving their tool, and their pop-ups are really good now.
Yeah, their pop-ups were the targeting wasn't the greatest on them before, was it? But Privy would be much better for targeting and different flexibility. But you're saying Klaviyo's improved a lot on that now.
Yeah, no, the targeting is still fairly basic, but in most cases the targeting works. It was primarily the editor side of things, which was very basic previously. With the fonts you could use, designs you could add. Now it's improved by a ton, and the customization is a lot better.
I've seen quite a lot of comment on Twitter lately about the Klaviyo prices, so it's
Yeah.
causing
They
a lot.
raise prices all the time now. But that's primarily, I believe it's because Shopify acquired a stake in them, and then whenever private equity comes in or like larger companies come in, they look to increase profitability, cut costs. So that's one way to do it, just increasing the prices.
Yeah, for sure. The Shopify actually had an integrated email tool they released, didn't they? Have
That's
you
bad.
tried it? Is it really?
I didn't try it myself, but I just read the reviews. I don't think I saw a single positive review. And again, it's something I believe. I believe they tried to mimic Klaviyo and they tried to get rid of them because they saw how much money was in emails. So they tried to make their own tool. They understood how complicated, how difficult that is. So they it would be easier for them to invest in Klaviyo and just get the same benefit.
Good stuff. Okay, and then moving on to campaigns. Then,
Yes.
what type of campaigns would you be running?
Ooh, that's a very broad question, but I would say the campaign. I would say fundamentally the way I like to talk about campaigns at the moment is for someone to understand the best campaigns to send out. Imagine as you're giving ideas to your customers. So right now, Black Friday. We just came out of Black Friday, Cyber Monday at the time of recording the podcast. And on Black Friday, Cyber Monday, if you want to get more sales and you don't want to promote the same products or the same discounts, you can promote different angles. So one of them is, it's maybe Saturday or Sunday. You could send them an email saying, hey, are you running out of your Black Friday's budget? Well, don't worry because you can buy now and pay later with Afterpay on our shop. It's giving these customers ideas because they might think, oh, I don't have any more money to buy, this nice hoodie. But you tell them, hey, look, you'd have to buy everything up front. You can get on a payment plan. Or even we had a conversation with a company that sells skiing equipment. For them, skiing equipment was one of the products they sold, and they also started selling shorts. Now with the shorts, once someone places an order for skiing equipment, you could tell them, hey, look, if you bought skiing equipment, you're probably going to go to a resort. In that resort, you're going to have a sauna, you're going to have a spa. So get these swimming shorts as well, so you can enjoy a nice, relaxing evening at the spa after a full day of skiing. It's just giving customers these ideas, and they're like, oh, yeah, cool, this is a good idea from you, and they're more likely to purchase.
Yeah, good. And how often would you suggest a brand is emailing their customers?
12 campaigns a month is a golden standard. Again, it depends on how big your email list is. We had a conversation with a company doing 100 million a year. They send 3 emails a day. That's obviously because their email list is so massive, they can have a bunch of different segments and keep up this frequency. If you are doing under 100K a month, 12 campaigns a month is good. If you're doing like less than 50K, you could even do 4 campaigns a month. That's my recommendation.
Even that 12 campaigns sounds a lot. When you say campaigns, it's not necessarily discounts, but it's like product update or newsletter.
Yeah, it can be product updates. Again, it can be a lot of times different angles. We have Mother's Day coming up. We can have 2 campaigns we send out. We can predict the gender of people who are likely to be male and likely to be female. Send them 2 different emails, different angles. We can showcase the best-selling products of the month, best-selling products of the week. We can take the same product and maybe write an advertorial-style email around it. We can write a value email teaching our existing customers how to use this product, or maybe how a supplementary product and then make their lives even better. So there's an infinite amount of angles that we can use, and really that's why I previously talked about giving customers ideas, because once you realize you can do that, that's essentially what campaigns are. And you never lose ideas to send to your customers. You just keep on generating new ones. You can have a frequently asked questions email, right? Dive into the frequently asked questions. You can have emails that get sent to buyers. You can have emails that get sent to non-buyers. Emails to engaged customers, emails to unengaged customers. And through this, you fill in the month quite easily.
Yeah. Good. Okay. And then in terms of the actual email itself, I'd like to just sort of finish up by talking about what are the success factors with the actual email. Subject lines, copy, images, hooks, that kind of thing. What's driving the most? What are the key things there?
Yeah. So the first thing you want to focus on is like the subject line. It's the same thing as you enter a website or you start watching a Facebook ad. It's the hook, it's the headline, it's the subject line. It's what captures the attention of the customers. Then once you've captured their attention, you want to get them to click and open the email. Once they've done that, boom, you're in. They're in. They can start reading it. This comes down to two things: copywriting and graphic design. How well can you write copy? How well can you sell the click? That's the main premise of the email. You want to sell 2 clicks. The first click you sell is a subject line and the preview text to get them to click the email. The second click is for them to click the CTA within the email so they get taken to the product page. So you need to build enough curiosity. Sometimes this can be done with very, very short emails that don't say much. But if someone ever subscribes to Neil Patel's email list, that's what he does. He sends 4 or 5 lines of text and a CTA. That's it. Because his goal is just get people to click the email as much as possible. Sometimes for more complicated products, you can write longer copy that explains the product a bit more, and then you can get more, you sell more within the email. But I would say those are 2 types of emails you can sell. And just thinking about how can I get more people to click and open up my email? How can I get more people to click and open up the product page? Those are the things that make an email successful. That's the fundamentals. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. How much does design play a factor in? I know a lot of email marketers, more traditionally in the info product space, will talk about text-based emails,
Yes.
But then brand, then a lot of image-heavy emails. What are your thoughts there?
We do both. We do text and image-based, even for e-commerce, even for larger brands. Text-based can be very good to build a personalized feeling between the customer and the brand. So you can get customers to feel like the actual owner or someone from the company is messaging them. It looks like an email that was sent by a colleague. Visual-based emails, it's as the name tells, they show visuals. They showcase the product itself, and they can showcase different benefits and show that to the customer to get them to click. I recommend mixing both together. Great design is important as well, because even if you have an email that just texts, that is still great design, because then it just all comes down to the copywriting of it. It comes down to the style. The way you would write an email with an image and a design would be very different the way that you would write a text-based email. So I would say good design is important, but it doesn't mean that ugly things are bad. If you've been in the internet marketing space, you know that a lot of times ugly stuff converts better than the pretty stuff. So you got to test it and find stuff that works. We actually, a while back before the email agency, we were selling courses. This is actually parallel to the email agency. So it was not like make money online. It was like dancing courses, painting courses, fitness course. We were involved in a course with Jennifer Lopez's private trainer. Some like really cool stuff, and a lot of these programs they did very well, like 20K a day, something like that. And with the dancing course, we had problems converting it. The conversion rate was very, very low. And us testing landing pages, we saw we had this professionally designed landing page by a graphic designer, and we switched to a very simple ClickFunnels page that looked like crap, but it converted a lot better because it's. You got to test. Different audiences respond to different things. Typically, older people respond to uglier things better because they're kind of more used to it. Whereas a younger audience, we have the blacked out. We have the dark mode turned on, so our phones are more blacked out. So you kind of want to mimic that style a bit more as well.
Nice. Yeah. Cool. In terms of, you mentioned earlier some companies you've worked with, some kind of case study stuff. Are there any case studies that kind of spring to mind of people that just got started with email marketing, deployed some good solid strategy and seen some real solid growth with the email channel?
Yeah, so to answer your question specifically, some people who started out with email, last year we had a skincare company with which we did 136K in sales with just one email campaign send. I think it was a month after working with us. So that was massive. We saw another company, we scaled from 661K a month, 990K a month in sales, just by working with us as well. That case study is actually on the site as well. It just happened in the first 30 days. We implemented the emails and made 300K extra a month. And to be fair, there's been a quite lot of them. We had another hearing aid company. I think on average a month they're doing 100K. We scaled to 140K a month, so that helped out a ton. Because obviously the money they made from emails, they could reinvest back into paid advertising and make more money. So it's a flywheel that helps you grow. We actually had another company did a pre-sale for the Black Friday Cyber Monday deal with an email list of 4,000 people. We collected, I think it was 200K in sales with one email send, or 200K or 160, like in that range. I forgot on the top of my mind. Keeping up with 60 clients is not the easiest thing.
Yeah. So in summary, email marketing still works.
Yes. That's the entire podcast. I believe this part will cropped out. Does email marketing work? Yes. The end of it.
That's it. That's all we need. Just to finish up, have you seen any significant changes in the last 12 months? And maybe do you see significant changes coming up? I know obviously there's potential, has been some issues with email tracking, etc. Are there significant changes that are taking place in the industry? Or
No.
is it same as 3 years ago?
No. Well, there have been some changes. It goes down more to the content and consumer behavior rather than like technicals like you would see maybe on Facebook ads. iOS 15 didn't impact emails that much, primarily because email marketing and open rates and tracking open rates specifically was never reliable. It was kind of like an eyeball thing, and still most tools, the way they would work. Now, I'll explain a little bit more about this. But when you send out an email, there's a pixel that tracks when someone opens an email or not. So what happened previously, pre-iOS 15, there were a lot of bots and security tools that would open emails before the person sees it to scan for malware or some issues. So most of the email sending providers, they had already calculated in that the first open rate is not legit, it's not real, and we're going to assume the second open rate. So that countered a lot of the issues we saw. It, for example, like if you sent Apple Mail, like, oh, we'd see 100% open rate, when in reality it's not true. This does, for example, bypass it. This was said by the owner of SendLane as well on Twitter, that for them this wasn't an issue. Most email tools have some similar mechanisms, and then even before that, it wasn't, open rate wasn't accurate. It's the same as like people say for SMS. SMS is a 98% open rate. It's bullshit. There's no way you can track open rate, for example, in SMS. So you can't say SMS open rate is better than emails. On SMS, it's 100% assumed. It's just a random number, like really just a random number that gets spit out. You can only look at the click-through rate. With emails as well, like click-through rate is what you really want to push for. It's a bit more difficult to track open rates than it was previously, but really it wasn't the best metric to go after. I know everybody who's new to emails always asks like, oh, what's the average open rate you get? It doesn't matter. It's not the question or the metric that really matters. What matters is your click-through rate and your placed order rate.
Yeah, no, that's good. Some solid advice. If you could leave people with one bit of takeaway, key action item for the end of the episode, what would it be?
Watch all of Ben's podcast episodes.
I got you getting back on.
If I have to give another great piece of advice for emails, I'd say is know when to use emails properly. So there are people who start emails either too early or too late. Too late is less frequent, but too early is what we see more often. If someone is starting out or they see struggle in their business, they try to find a new marketing channel, a new marketing tool to save it. It's not going to be, just email or Pinterest ads. A lot of times you have to look at the fundamentals and improve those. And it's a hard pill to swallow. It's, when you're trying to become rich, you think that there's going to be like a course you're going to watch and you're going to, wake up with $1 million in your bank account. It's not going to happen through that. A lot of things happen through great strategy and thinking and problem solving. The same thing goes same thing happens there with email.
Just a quick follow-up to that. Until someone gets to that stage, say they're doing 5-10K a month on their website sales, they should obviously still be building the list, but what do they do with it? Just a weekly update email or once
I would say if you're 5-10K a month, focus on growth. Focus on getting to 30-50K. Like emails, set up flows and forget about the rest. Like it's not gonna be worth it for you. Like really, it sounds like counterintuitive as an email marketer telling you not to do emails. Just mathematically, your time and the effort you put into writing emails when you're doing 10K a month, you could 5x your revenue by learning how to do paid ads better, or crafting better offers, or adding more SKUs and creating bundles. So that's what you need to focus on first. And once you have the offers down, email marketing is not going to fix a bad offer. That's all I got to say. And no marketing channel will ever fix a bad offer. So you have to start with the fundamentals, craft them. And if you're 10K a month, I'm sorry, but your offer is not good enough. You know, if your offer was good enough, you'd be at 500K a million a month. Even if you're 100K a month, your offer is still not good enough. You need a better offer. And it's something that people don't get sold often, but really speaking, we've been into over 250 Klaviyo accounts. Like I think even like close to 400 Klaviyo accounts at this point. And this is what we see the most successful ones have. They have great offers, and they've nailed acquisition and offers in their product before they try to really scale, or they do it while scaling and they figure it out. And that's how they get to like $1 million a month and those kind of revenue numbers.
Good. That's the kind of honesty we like. I appreciate that, the candidness, and I'm sure that's going to be very helpful for a lot of people, as will this whole episode will be. I feel like we've kind of, talked about a lot of the fundamentals. There's probably a million further questions we could have, but if people do want to kind of follow you for more inspiration, find out more about the agency, where can they find you?
Find me on Instagram at Reinis, so just my name, or you can type in you can go to agencyjr.com/call and talk with me there. So it's agency J as in Jacob, R as in Reinis.com/call, and we'll have a chat and see if and how we can help out with email marketing specifically. I'm not going to be able to be your life coach, unfortunately. It's not a service yet that we offer.
Yeah. I just want to catch up about the World Cup, see what you thought about. I won't book it there. But no, that's brilliant. We'll leave all of those details in the show notes and description, etc. Reinis, thanks so much for coming on, man. You can tell it just oozes out of you, this email stuff. So I appreciate you taking the time out and sharing with our
Thank
audience.
you for having me, my friend.
No worries. All right, guys, you heard it. Check out the details in the description, the show notes below, and get into this email marketing stuff. And we'll see you in the next episode real soon.